Kutmaran, lesson 25, the Rebbe's own words, nanach, nachman, meuman. The sages of Athens said to him, show us something that is not worth the damage it causes. He brought a budya mat and they spread it out, but it would not fit through the doorway. Bring a sledgehammer and break down the doorway till it can fit through. This is something that is not worth the damage it causes. Ever since the temple was destroyed, the shomer worm that can eat through stone, and seforim nectar of honey, and amana the faithful ceased to exist. Number one, each and every person individually must disentangle himself from the mindset of illusion and become able to see things from the high perspective of the intellect. When one is drawn to follow illusion, one is in the category of a capricious heart, for one is following the heart's illusion. However, when one distances oneself from the capricious heart, breaking one's heart of stone, one is in the category of the shomer worm, through which stone is subdued, so that one does not follow illusory desires, but follows the intellect. But as long as one has not actualized one's intellect, as long as one has not used it, the intellect remains for this person only a potential. Then one may have already broken illusion, thus stirring the function of the intellect. For when one rises, the other falls. Or the intellect is still only in potential. Or this is represented by the seforim, as in your lips drip neufes. For one has manifested the sweetness of one's intellect from potential into reality. Lips itself represents actualizing a potential, which is an aspect of speech. Then after one has grasped with one's intellect everything that is humanly possible to grasp, one's intellect is then considered an acquired intellect. One's intellect is then considered an acquired intellect. As the natural scientists have written, there is potential intellect, actualized intellect, and acquired intellect. There is potential intellect, actualized intellect, and acquired intellect. However, the essence of human existence after death is only by virtue of acquired intellect. That is all that survives a person's death. This is represented by amana. Amana means that something is enduring, for acquired intellect is what remains of a person's existence after his death. Acquired intellect refers to a person's knowing a multitude of ideas as a single body of knowledge. Until then, one must learn many individual ideas before one can know a subject. But when one grasps the subject as a whole, one can cast aside all the details, for one knows the subject holistically. Now the fountain of wisdom flowed mainly from the temple, for that was the site of offering sacrifices which represented animal nature and the power of illusion, as in the sacrifices of God are a broken spirit. That is, the breaking of illusion is itself the sacrifice. The breaking of illusion is itself the sacrifice. For this reason, our sages said, ever since the temple was destroyed, the shomer ceased to exist. However, when the temple will be rebuilt, a fountain will flow from the temple. Number two, but no, in each and every world and at each and every level, there are these illusions. They are the klippos that precede the fruit and surround holiness, as in the wicked walk around. Thus when a person moves from one level to another, he must pass through these illusions in order to reach holiness. As soon as one rises to the higher level, the illusions of that level are aroused and surround him. One must subdue them and break them, purifying the place of klippos. Number three, and no two people are alike. Each soul is at a specific level, and each one serves as a garment for the other. The inner essence of the lower one becomes a garment and exterior for the higher one's manifestation. Hence, when one person wants to rise from one level to the next, the person at that next higher level is catapulted to a yet higher level. For it is impossible for two people to be at the same high level. However, only the inner essence of the one at the higher level rises up, while the outer manifestation remains. Similarly, only the inner essence of the one at the lower level rises up. The inner essence of the lower one becoming the exterior for the manifestation of the higher one, and though the klipa at the higher level has already been broken by the person at the higher level, nevertheless, when the inner essence of that higher person rises up and the inner essence of the lower one rises up, the klipa comes back to life. For it has only been subdued to the light of the inner essence of the higher person, but it still has the power to rise up against the lower one, even against his inner essence. For this reason one must break and subdue it anew. Now, the inner essence and the outer manifestation represent two types of service: the service of torah and prayer, and mitzvah is the service of torah and prayer, and mitzvahs. And mitzvahs correspond to the inner essence, while the service of eating, drinking, and other bodily needs correspond to the outer manifestation. The service of the outer manifestation, that is, eating and drinking of the one at the higher level, is more enlightened and sublime than the services of the inner essence, that is, Torah and prayer, of the one at the lower level. For this reason, the inner essence of the lower one becomes a garment for the outer manifestation of the higher one. This explains the kisei throne of glory is exalted from the first. The site of our temple, the kisei, from the same root as is kasya hidden, represents the inner essence. Glory represents the outer manifestation, and garment, as in Rabbi Yochanan referred to his garments as his glory. Exalted from the first refers to one rising from one's initial level when inner essence becomes an outer manifestation. For this reason, the site of our temple, for one must re-sanctify the site, since the klippas have come back to life. Number 4, but it is impossible to subdue the klippas, the illusions, thoughts, lusts, confusions, and obstacles at each level, other than by way of the Creator's greatness, as brought in the kavanas. Kabbalistic intentions on Hoidu give thanks to God, call out in His name, which was instituted to be recited at the beginning of the bezH Zimra, in order to subdue the klippas of the world of Yetzirah formation, which the bezH Zimra are meant to parallel. They are aroused when the world of Asiyah action rises into the world of Yetzirah, which takes place when one moves from reciting the morning sacrificial service to reciting the bezH Zimra, and subdued by proclaiming the Creator's greatness, for the inner essence of the world of Yetzirah rises into the world of Bria creation, and the inner essence of the world of Asiyah rises and enclose the manifestation of the world of Yetzirah. Now the Creator's greatness is revealed by giving charity to a deserving poor person. This is because the essence of greatness and pe'er splendor is the revelation of the supernal colors, the spheroids, specifically silver and gold, which are the quintessential, which are the quintessential colors, for they embody the supernal colors. However, the supernal colors embodied within silver and gold only shine when they come into the possession of a Jewish person, for that is their proper place. Then they are embodied in one another, and these colors then shine. As in Israel, from whom, as poer, I receive splendor. For these colors belong with the Jewish person. When these colors shine, God derives greatness and splendor from them, as in silver is mine and gold is mine. Furthermore, garments of Yesha, salvation, are made from them. Yesha, in the sense of beholding, as in Yeshu, they will turn to God. For everyone looks towards Him due to the splendor, everyone desiring to behold Him. On the other hand, as long as the silver and the gold are in Gentile possession, then the radiance of the colors is hidden. They do not shine, for that is not their place. Their place is only with a Jewish person, as in Israel, from whom as poor I receive splendor, for that is where the pe'er of the colors are. For this reason Gentiles crave Jewish money. The Gentiles may have hoards of their own silver and gold, but they crave the dollar of a Jew, as if they have never seen money in their lives. This is because the colors in the silver and gold that is in their possession do not shine. There is no aura of delight upon their money. For splendor and delights are only revealed when in Jewish possession. For splendor and delights are only revealed when in Jewish possession. For this reason, the Gentiles are called paupers, as in beware of the reshus authorities, for they are rashim, paupers, and nihidi. For they have no pleasure from their money, as if they were indeed poor. Thus they crave Jewish money for splendor and aura, for splendor and an aura of delights hover upon Jewish money, and they all crave to behold that splendor and delight. However, as soon as a Gentile acquires Jewish money, the splendor and delight of this money immediately disappears. For this reason, the Gentiles always demand more money from the Jews, forgetting about the money already received. Since the delight disappeared when it came into their possession. This is the meaning of they are only friendly to the Jews when they anticipate having pleasure from their money. This is alluded to in delight in God's eyes. God's eyes refers to the supernal colors, which are silver and gold. They are the sight of delight and splendor. Thus when Abimelech said to Sarah, behold, I have given 1,000 pieces of silver to your brother. Let it be for you a cloak of beauty to the eyes. That is, when the money left Gentile possession and came into Jewish possession, the colors were immediately revealed and they became garments of Yesha, salvation. This is a cloak of beauty to the eyes, for everyone looks at it and everyone craves to behold it. Now by giving charity from one's money, one rectifies all of one's money, and the colors are revealed and shine. All of one's money then is in the category of silver is mine and gold is mine. He has clothed me in garments of Yesha, he will cover me with a cloak of charity, and even the money that the Gentiles take from us is considered charity, as the sages said on the verse, your oppressors. Charity. This is the meaning of your eyes are like brechois, pools in Cheshbon at the gate of Bas Rahabim. Your eyes refers to the colors corresponding to silver and gold. They are nisbarech, by way of charity. For each penny given to charity adds up to a large cheshbon account. Furthermore, even the money that comes into the possession of the Gentiles, who are referred to as Bas Rabim, literally daughter of many, duality. This too is considered charity, as in your oppressor's charity, but this is only at the gate of Bas Rabim, when it is still at the gate, before coming into Gentile possession. When there is still an aura. When there is still an aura. When there is still an aura of delight upon the money, but afterwards the delight disappears. This is the meaning of what the sages of Athens said. Show us something that is not worth the damage it causes. He brought a budia mat and they spread it out. But it would not fit through the doorway. Bring a sledgehammer and break down the doorway with the koisel wall. He told them, Budia refers to the bedayos, fabrications of the heart. What the heart conjures, which is illusion, the capricious heart. When this fabrication of illusion in the heart surges and overwhelms a person who is rising from a lower level to a higher level, the klipa, which is the power of illusion, does not value the loss and damage it has already suffered from the person who is at the higher level. It nevertheless, nanach, nachma, nachman, meuman. It does not value the loss and damage it has already suffered from the person who is at the higher level. It nevertheless rises up once again. It would not fit through the doorway. This means that the person cannot pass through the gate of holiness, which is the intellect, due to the overwhelming of illusion. What to do? Break down the doorway. This refers to illusion, which is defilement, as in one who comes to defile himself, the doorway is open for him. Alluded to in sin crouches by the doorway. Breaking it is accomplished by way of the colors, which are the Creator's greatness. This is alluded to in Koi, Sel, Chavav, Tel. Koi, Chavav, Tel. Koi represents the holy name Yud. Kevav, Kei, both are numerically 26. Choi, Kavav, represented by the colors, as in God is my light, referring to the lights of the colors, and my salvation is an allusion to garments of Yeshua's salvation. It is a tele-mound that everyone turns to and craves to behold. From lesson 24 till here are the Rebbe's own words, nanach, nachma, nachman, meuman. Number 5, know as well that in order to subdue the klipa that hovers around, at all levels, one must arouse oneself to rejoice in the joy of performing a mitzvah. That is, one should rejoice for having merited coming close to God and to the tzaddikim, nanach, nachma, nachman, meuman, who bring one close to God. Through this joy, one breaks the klipa and enters into the higher level. Related to section 1, the sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, means that breaking illusion is a sacrifice. This represents the ritual of pressing one's hands upon the sacrifices. Sacrifices are brought from animals, which represent the function of illusion. For an animal also produces illusion when a person follows his heart's illusions, that is, his lusts, which arise from the function of illusion. He is literally acting like an animal, for an animal also produces illusion. Therefore, when a person sins, and all sins arise from the function of illusion, which is the source of all lusts, one must bring an animal as a sacrifice and press one's hands upon it, and press one's hands upon it, confessing one's sins over the sacrifice, while pressing upon it all the sins, and the function of illusion are thus rendered to the animal, which represents illusion. Immediately following the pressing ritual, the animal is slaughtered, and this subdues the function of illusion related to sections 2, 3. When a person rises from one level to the next, one must pass through these illusions in order to reach holiness. As soon as one rises to the higher level, the klippas of that level are aroused and surround the person, who must subdue them anew. Although the klipa has already been subdued at the higher level, nevertheless, when the inner essence of a higher level rises ever higher, the inner essence of a lower level rises into it, and the klipa is roused again. Regarding this, the rebbe nach, nachman, meuman said at the time, Chassidim are very mistaken in this. They assume that they have fallen from God's service, while in truth this is not a fall at all. Rather, since they must rise to a higher level, the klipas, the lusts, confusions, illusions, thoughts, and obstacles are roused to overwhelm anew. Therefore, one must muster the strength each and every time anew to subdue and break the klipas and obstacles at each and every new level, at each and every level anew. But in truth, this is not a fall at all. Related to section number 3, and no two people are alike. Hence, when one person wants to rise from one level to the next, the person at that next higher level is catapulted to a yet higher level. Regarding this, the Rebbe said at the time, nanach, nachman, meuman. This is the concept of one person raising another by one person at a lower level, rising up to the next level. He thereby lifts and raises the person at the higher level to rise even higher. The one at the higher level then goes and raises the one at yet a higher level, and so on, higher and higher. For it is impossible for two people to be at the same level. After the Rebbe nach, nachman, meuman finished giving this lesson, in which he refers to the lust of the bezH, evil inclination, as the power of illusion, he added, we must give it a new name. That is, we should not call the evil one as the bezH any longer. We should call it the function of illusion. He said this jokingly, but I understood that he meant an entire mind shift and entire mind shift, a full intention though I did not merit understanding what he meant with this. Lesson number 26, the Rebbe's own words. The sages of Athens asked him, when a chick dies in its shell, where does the living spirit leave it? He told them, the way it's all contextually gets in, but literally rises up. A chick is called an efroyach, and represents a tzaddik, nanach, nachman, meuman, as in a tzaddik will yifrach, literally blossom in his days. Thus they meant to ask him regarding a tzaddik who mortifies himself and sacrifices himself in his prayers and supplications. At which point in the prayers should he sacrifice himself the most? He answered them the way it all, that is, wherever he needs to elevate sparks of holiness. In other words, whenever foreign thoughts enter his mind and he needs to elevate them. As known, there he needs to sacrifice himself. Lesson number 27, the Rebbe's own words. The sages of Athens asked him, when a ritzitza chick dies in its beyusa shell, where does the living spirit leave it? He told them, the way it gets in, holiest. Nanach, nachman. Number one, drawing the entire world to God's service, to serve Him in harmony, more literally shoulder to shoulder, so that all cast away their silver and gold and pray only to God, is accomplished in each generation according to the level of peace existing in that generation. By way of the peace existing between people, they are able to inquire into the truth and explain it to each other, by way of which one casts aside his erroneous idolatrous beliefs in the power of money, and brings himself close to the truth. Number two, it is impossible to reach a state of peace other than by way of the shining of the countenance, a glorious countenance. This is alluded to when Jacob arrived at Shalem. Jacob arrived Shalem at the city of Shechem, implying that the arousal of to serve him Shechem echad harmoniously is by way of shalom, peace. Furthermore, peace is attained by way of the concept of Jacob, who represented the shining of the countenance, as in Jacob's splendor resembled the splendor of Adam. This is alluded to in those who seek your countenance, Jacob. Number three, now a glorious countenance is represented by Torah interpretations, for the Torah is interpreted according to the 13 principles that are drawn from the 13 rectifications of the Zaken, supernal beard, which is an aspect of dras panim, a glorious countenance, as in v'hadartzu pnei zaken, honor the countenance of an elder. Number four, and proportionate to one's refining one's wisdom by way of these 13 principles. So is one's singing voice, so is one's singing voice refined, as in Zaken. Zekane, wisdom, an elder, is one who has acquired wisdom, and the kana vocal cords is what produces the voice, hence the juxtaposition, show me your countenance, representing the glorious countenance, corresponding to Zaken, let me hear your voice, for the voice is according to the wisdom of Torah, interpretations, according to the logic of the 13 principles that one uses to interpret the Torah. Thus seek me, literally interpret me, and live, for wisdom gives life to its owner. Number five, and when one's voice is refined, then simply with one's voice, even without speaking, God saved this person from his troubles, as in when he heard their outcry, God saw how they were in trouble, for by making one's voice heard, God sees the one who is in trouble. Which nation is oppressing him? This is alluded to in Ba'er explained well. Ba'er explained well in 70 languages the commentaries on and interpretations of the Torah. And the source of voice and the source of voice has alluded in God heard their song, the acronym of which is Ba'er, which means commentaries and interpretations. Number 6, but it is impossible to attain the glorious countenance other than by way of guarding the covenant, as in splendor and glory are before him, when ois and ois might and joy are in his place, which refers to the covenant which is called boaz, and is the joy of the matroin, shchina malchus, and thus my is the covenant, and song the voice, and he was my salvation, as in he saw when they were in trouble. This is the meaning of our sages' teaching. When the Israelites came out of the sea, they focused upon singing, for the covenant was revealed at the sea, as our sages said on the verse. The sea saw and fled. It saw Joseph, who represents the covenant, who fled outside. They focused refers to the glorious countenance. As in Zaken refers to one who has acquired wisdom. As Rashi explains on the verse, the eyes of both of them were opened. This refers to their acquiring wisdom. Finally, singing refers to voice, which is revealed by way of wisdom. Thus our sages said, babies and sucklings said, this is my God and I will exalt him, which alludes to the covenant, as in this shall be for you the sign, and I will glorify him. Refers to the glorious countenance. This is the meaning of one who befriends prostitutes will lose a fortune. A fortune corresponds to the voice. As our sages commented on the verse, honor God with your own fortune. Don't read it as your own. Rather read it as your garoyin voice throats. Thus, when one damages the covenant, one's voice is also damaged. But Jacob, who guarded the covenant, as in the first of my virility, the first of my strength, the first of my virility, merited voice, as in the voice is the voice of Jacob, and with voice one can attain peace, as in the Song of Songs of Shlomo, Solomon of the king, to Mishalom peace. For this reason, immediately after the sound of song, with the song at the sea, they merited Shabbos Shalom, the peace of the Shabbos, as in they arrived at Morah, and the commandment of the Shabbos was given at Morah, and thus Vatan Luhem Miriam Shiru. Miriam called out to them, sing to God, the acronym of which spells Shalom. Vatan Luhem Miriam Shiru. For through song they merited peace. Number 7, and specifically in Morah did they receive the peace of Shabbos. For the way of peace is to enclothe itself in Morah bitterness, as in attaining peace. I had yet great bitterness, just as all medicines are with bitter potions, so it is with peace, which is the healing of all things, as in peace to the far and the near, says God, and I will heal them. But sometimes the ill person is so overwhelmed by weakness that he is unable to bear the bitterness of the medicines, at which point the doctors throw up their hands in despair. Similarly, when sins, which are the illness of the soul, overwhelm a person, one is then unable to bear the bitterness of the medicines. There is no peace for the wicked. For this reason, King Hezekiah praised God for casting all his sins, behind him, so that he would not have to enclose peace in great bitterness. Thus he said, in attaining peace, I had great bitterness. Meaning, I understand that peace requires bitterness, but you desired my soul and prevented it from descending to the pit. For you know that I lack the strength to bear the bitterness appropriate for my sins. You cast aside all my sins, so that peace being clothed in bitterness only as much as I can bear. This is alluded to in Abraham was Zaken old. That is by way of the Zaken elder. God blessed Abraham with everything, which is peace, as in he makes peace and creates everything. Number 8, the sages explain the verse. Jacob reached Shalem to mean Shalem in his body, Shalem in his money, Shalem in his Torah, peace, health in his body. That means that none of the 4 biles overwhelms another. Peace in his money means that other money does not devour it, as the daughter of Nakdimoin Ben Gurion said. And peace in his Torah means without contradictions. Only then Jacob reached Shalem, the city of Shechem, as 7. Thus the Ritzitza check alludes to a Kaner Ratzot's broken reed, which refers to the nations who are distant from the concept of Zaken, one who Kaner has acquired wisdom from a glorious countenance. They are bound to the Kaner Ratzot's, as in rebuke the beast of the Kaner, died in its Bayusa shell, refers to putting an end to and eradicating their Bayusa prayer and supplications in beseeching other gods, but calling out together in God's name. Where does the living spirit leave it? Meaning that attaining the above is only possible by rectifying the covenant, as in no spirit of sexual arousal arose in any man. But how does one draw out and remove the sparks of holiness that have fallen due to damaging the covenant? To this he told them, behane de all, the way it gets in. Alternatively, with the one into whom it entered, that is by way of the one in whom the spirit entered, that is, the spirit of foolishness, of sexual fantasies. When this person breaks his lust, he thereby draws out and removes the spark of holiness that had fallen on account of the blemish of the covenant. For this is appropriate repentance. Elders disappeared from the gate, and youths from their song, until here are the Rebbe's own words, nanach, nachma, nachman, meuman, related above. When he heard their outcry, God saw they were in trouble by way of making one's voice heard. God sees the one who is in trouble. Which nation is oppressing him? The Rebbe nanach, nachma, nachman, meuman said that for this reason, when there is some decree or trouble for the Jews from some nation, it is beneficial to sing the tune of that oppressing nation. This is alluded to in when he heard their rina, specifically rina, which can also mean a song, that is the song and tune of that nation that is oppressing the Jewish people. Oh, heaven forbid, let he take compassionate peace. Lesson number 28, the Rebbe's own words. The sages of Athens asked. The sages of Athens said, build us a house in the sky. He uttered a divine name and was immediately suspended between heaven and earth. He then said to them, bring me bricks and tina cement from Hossam there. Who can get up there? They responded. And who can build a house between heaven and earth? He replied, those who oppose, scorn and deride the God-fearing, do so because they receive the Torah from Jewish Torah scholar demons. These Jewish Torah scholar demons receive the Torah from demons who possess fallen Torah from the fallen Hebrew letters Aleph. Regarding these Alephs, the verse says about King Solomon, he spoke 3,000 parables, and his songs were 5, and Aleph 1,000. Solomon attained these 4 olives in holiness, but these Jewish Torah scholar demons attained them by way of the klippas. For this reason, their speech consists entirely of parables, flowery language, and complex rationale, for its source is in these olives. Nanach, nachman, nachma.